Hey, everybody, welcome back to J.P.'s World of Wrestling. I am your man, J.P., and today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm in my living room right now instead of the spare bedroom that I normally do my videos from, just because I just felt like doing it. Forgive the way I sound. I've got a cough, thanks to my wife, who acquired it somewhere, probably from work or something, and gave it to me. Now, I don't really feel sick, I just have a cough. So, bear with me. The subject of today's video is this Tuesday in Texas, a 1991 extra pay-per-view that the WWF did as sort of a way to sort of expand the storyline with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and the Undertaker and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's get into this thing because it wasn't a very long pay-per-view. In fact, there are only 5 matches on the whole card. And I just watched it on YouTube. I went to WWE Vault on YouTube, and they have the entire event right there. And so it was on December 3rd, 1991 at Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. Which stands to reason, because it is this Tuesday in Texas. So basically, today, if it were 1991 in Texas, or if it were 1991 and December 3rd. But it's not. This is the event that took place over 30 years ago. But let's get into it. First up, we have the Intercontinental Championship on the line. The champion at the time was Bret the Hitman Hart. And his opponent, Skinner. Ooh, the mighty Skinner. Not really. But Bret Hart comes out victorious in this one. He gets a pinfall victory over Skinner to retain the Intercontinental Championship belt. And so then, next up we have a grudge match. Now this is a story that had been going on for a while. But it was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Jake the Snake Roberts. The two of them had been feuding. In fact, I can still remember the vivid images in my mind. Macho Man Randy Savage being tied up in the ring ropes. And an evil Jake the Snake Roberts had taken a cobra, like an actual real cobra, and allowed it to bite the forearm of the Macho Man Randy Savage. And Miss Elizabeth was there pleading for Jake to let Macho go. But, Jake wouldn't do that. He's a heel. He's a bad guy. He's going to do evil bad guy things. So he allowed the cobra to chomp and chow down on the arm of Macho Man Randy Savage, culminating in this match here at this Tuesday in Texas. In fact, at Survivor Series, which this event here takes place immediately after, like 5 days later, both Bret and Jake, or not Bret, Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho were both supposed to be on opposite ends of a 4-man tag team. But because of the heated situation, President Jack Tunney said, okay, we're going to take these two guys out of this match, and we're going to put them together in a singles match at this Tuesday in Texas. So that's what they did here. Now, Macho Man technically he got the victory. It wasn't a very long match, but he got the victory. Went off the top rope with his elbow. But immediately after the match, Jake the Snake Roberts attacked him, went under the ring, pulled out a small bag, which probably contained a different snake, because Jack Tunney had told Jake Roberts, hey, you're not allowed to have snakes at ringside anymore. You can't put a snake in the corner anymore. So Jake's like, okay, fine, I won't do it. Ooh. So after the match, Jake lifted up the ring apron, went under the ring, pulled out this small bag, and Elizabeth came down, because at that point, Jake had given Savage a DDT. And so Elizabeth comes down, starts pleading for, Jake to leave him alone again. But Jake You know, he wanted to antagonize Macho and Elizabeth, so not only did he slap Elizabeth, but he gave Macho 2 more DDTs and was finally chased out of the ring area by President Jack Tunney. So that sort of expanded that storyline, and eventually Jake the Snake Roberts would leave the WWF to go to WCW to feud with Sting, but that's not what this is about. Yeah, so then we had a single match after that, another single match. It was kind of another grudge match, but it was a match that also happened at WrestleMania. But it was the Warlord, managed by Harvey Whippleman, versus the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. So, Davey Boy Smith picks up the victory here. It wasn't from a charging power slam like he normally did, but rather I think it was a schoolboy pin or something like that. But anyway, it wasn't his usual thing. But, you know, it was an okay match. 2 big men colliding, you know. Okay, so then we had a special tag team match. It was kind of lame match. It was kind of stupid. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't really a pay-per-view caliber match. Nevertheless, here we are. It was the Repo Man and the $1 Million Man with Sensational Sherry taking on Virgil and El Matador, Tito Santana. Yeah. So Repo Man and $1 Million Man ended up winning the match. And the funny thing is, I got to thinking about this match. Repo Man, only, you know, just, I don't know, 8-9 months prior to this, was still wrestling as Smash from Demolition. But after the Demolition sort of disbanded, they repackaged Barry Darso and then started calling him the Repo Man, this guy that would kind of sneak around and steal things. But nevertheless, Repo and $1 Million Man picked up their big win here. And so then that brings us to the WWF Championship match. The champion, The Undertaker, that's right, The Undertaker had beaten Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 1991, thanks in part by Ric Flair, who put a steel chair in the middle of the ring. Undertaker tombstone Hulk Hogan onto the chair, and allowed Undertaker to pick up the victory, the pinfall, and walk away with the championship belt. So that's when Jack Tunney set up this rematch. And in this rematch, Ric Flair also was involved. Jack Tunney was at ringside, but in the end, Hulk Hogan was able to recapture his championship. However, because of the interference of Ric Flair and because Hulk Hogan used the ashes from the urn to blind Hulk Hogan to win the match, Jack Tunney then stripped Hulk Hogan of the championship belt. And that's when the belt was kind of put on the line in the Royal Rumble the very next year, or just a month later. So, interesting stuff. Interesting time to be a WWF fan. Nevertheless, that was this Tuesday in Texas. It's on YouTube, on WWE Vault. I recommend, because it won't really take very much time out of your day to watch it. If you've never seen it, it's, you know, it's kind of a quick watch. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy many other videos to come. I know I haven't posted in a while, and I apologize about that. I've just been, not only have I been a little busy, but also just kind of thinking of stuff to post. You know, I don't have the means to really do action figure matches anymore. I'm going to start building. And actually, I did buy an old Hasbro figure on eBay. And I've got another one coming through my wife's place of employment. So I will show those to you because you wanted to come along with me on this journey to rebuild my wrestling collection. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So if you're new, feel free to, I'm talking like Captain Kirk now, feel free, Spock, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will indeed see you next time.